Hello and welcome back to Guitar Tech Tools, and today I'm just kidding, I'm not doing this. So, many of you have been asking on the channel when I am actually putting up the video for next gen systems, and the answer is, you're getting the video now. So I just did this as a little bit of a joke here, but actually behind the scenes I've been working on some of my guitars. This is an old Fender of mine that I completely redid. I'll throw up the picture of what this shit thing used to look like, but it's a lot better now. It still needs a new neck, unfortunately, and that's something I'm hoping to do, but I don't really talk about it a lot on my channel, but another big passion of mine is music. I specifically play guitar, can play bass and keyboard as well, but mostly guitar. So last couple of weeks I've really dived back into fixing up some of my old guitars and testing them and stuff. So again, just played for jokes. But that's not the reason you came here today. The reason you came here today is you want to see what my opinion is on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. I have both of them. I've been playing both of them the last 2 weeks, and I'm going to go down the list of pros and cons that I have about the next gen systems, and at the end I'm going to tell you right now which one I think is more worth your time and well spent money. This is going to be an interesting video, could be a longer one. Let's go ahead and dive in. So with this today, I thought the easiest way to tackle such a monster of a video would just be to pick one system, start with it, run down my pros and cons, and then move on to the next one. At the end I'll kind of compare the two and give you a verdict on which one right now I think is worth it and which one I think maybe you should wait on. So we're going to kick things off and start talking about the Xbox Series X. So I was lucky enough to get the Series X from Target. It was about an hour of me spamming the F5 button on my keyboard to keep refreshing that page to get one, but I was lucked out. I was able to get one. I got it on launch day. I've been using it since launch day. It's a hell of a system, but it's not without some flaws, and I kind of want to discuss those today. Let's start with the pros of the system. I'm going to kind of run down my list of the best things that come with the Xbox Series X. First thing I want to significantly highlight here, because it's an issue on the PS5 as we'll get to, is smart delivery. So on paper, the term smart delivery sounds just ridiculous, but it's actually awesome how it works. For example, I bought a physical copy of Assassin's Creed Valhalla for Xbox. What happens is when you pop the disc in your system, it'll actually come up and say, hey, do you want to upgrade to the best possible version of this game for the system that you have? And that would be the same if you bought a Series S, which, you know, is digital only, or if you're playing this game on your Xbox One X. I think if you were to put this game in a base One S or original Xbox, that probably doesn't come up, I would assume, because you're not updating it. But basically it pops up, says, hey, you have the ability to run this game with this version. Do you want to upgrade? You click yes. It downloads the best version of the game to your system, so you're always running whatever system you have at the best version available for that system. Another thing that's really cool, and why I like smart delivery, is that there's not different versions of games, so to say. So on the PlayStation 5, which we'll jump into more there is a PS4 and a PS5 version of a game. So, and well, the example I'll use is Mortal Kombat 11, and again, I'll get more to why this is a negative on the PlayStation side. On the Xbox side, if I were to pop in my Mortal Kombat 11 disc for the Xbox, it would upgrade to that version, it would copy my save over from the cloud, and I'd be good to go. And I think that's the most important and fascinating aspect of this. Another great example I use is No Man's Sky. I played a lot of No Man's Sky over the summer on my PC through Game Pass with a buddy, and since they put out the upgrade path for that game on the Xbox Series X here, I was able to just download it. I downloaded the best version of the game. It actually runs better than my PC now, which is quite something. It looks stunning on the Series X, but it picked up my save exactly from where I left off. It's stuff like that that is really cool about this. Another thing I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes here, I've been playing a lot of the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion for some reason. What's been fun about this is I've actually pulled my save from, 2006, 2007, and I've been playing that save file and just continuing. And it's been really fun and really awesome to look at that game. And that leads me into my next bullet point of pros here is flawless backwards compatibility. The system is built for backwards compatibility. It makes these games look 10 times better. Oblivion is running the best I've ever seen it run on a console, on the Series X. And with Auto HDR, which is a feature that's kind of blanketed across all of the Series X, it automatically implements HDR to games that didn't have it. So it doesn't work great for everything, but for a game like Oblivion, and unfortunately it's not going to be able to really be seen in my video, but if you have an HDR display, you can go check out Digital Foundry, has a extensive video on it. Auto HDR is awesome, a great feature of the system. The system is technically more powerful, however, I'm going to put this, and this is a positive, but it's also going to come up in the cons section, and we'll get to it. But if I had to give a pro, the Xbox is technically a more powerful console than the PS5. One thing I really have to give Microsoft credit for here is, in terms of these two new systems, the Xbox and the PlayStation, the Xbox is the most cosmetically pleasing. It looks awesome. I love the look of it. I love the design. I like that it's this black monolith. But lucky enough to have an entertainment center where I have kind of a big gap where I could set these systems up, and I think it looks just fantastic there. You know, and then you'll see in the shot next to the PlayStation, which we'll get to, I just think between the two systems, the Xbox, cosmetically speaking, looks fantastic. I also will give credit, I think the Series S also looks good as well. I didn't get a Series S because I wanted to go with the latest and greatest, but that system, I think, over time is probably going to be the bigger seller of the two because it's, you know, $300 versus $500, and it's a lot of bang for a buck there. The downfall is, of course, it's a digital-only system, but I think a lot of people are going to play it. The new controller is a minimalistic design, redesign. They didn't change a lot of things. I mean, the basic thing I would say here is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think that's what they did here. They added a share button. The share button is fine, and I do like the more texture grip on the back of it. I think that's a lot cooler as well. The new triggers feel really good as well. Overall, if you liked the Xbox controller over the years, it's just another great iteration of it. One of the biggest compelling arguments I could always make for you to get an Xbox is, of course, Game Pass. That's been one of the really cool things. You know, day one, there wasn't a lot of launch titles I could point to, go, oh, I want to play this, I want to play that. But with Game Pass, there's just such a library of titles to choose from. So especially if you're somebody who maybe didn't have an Xbox last generation and you get one this generation, it's a no-brainer to get Game Pass. And there's so many games to choose from, so it's just such a great service that's only expanded more and more. Another thing I have to point out here is that both systems have an SSD. The Xbox SSD internally is fantastic. It's technically larger than the PS5 SSD. It loads things lightning quick. I've never seen Oblivion load faster. Some of the other games I've kind of tested out here, they load lightning fast. There are still load times, but one great example I like to say is Forza Horizon 4. Used to take just an ass amount of time to load on the One X. It loads like within 5 to 10 seconds on the Series X. It's amazing, and it's actually made me really want to play that game. There is also quick resume, but I've never been the kind of person that's left like 4 or 5 games open. I know a lot of people out there are talking about quick resume. For me, I don't really care about that feature. I'm also the kind of person that shuts my Xbox off. I don't leave it on standby mode. I did that a little bit with the One X, but with this system being how fast it boots up, I don't feel I need to have it in standby mode. The other thing I'll point out here, great final feature I will say that's a pro for the Xbox, is it supports external storage flawlessly. I have a 500 gigabyte external SSD attached to it, as well as a 2 terabyte 5400 RPM just massive data bank drive attached to my X that I kind of swap games in and out through. So I'm not actually playing those games off that old hard drive, but it's a great storage device to have, so I don't have to keep re-downloading games. The other thing I'll say is transferring games to the internal SSD, incredibly fast. Transferring games off that back to an old hard drive, incredibly slow. So that's something I would really, want to put out there that you should probably take a look at. But unfortunately, with all great systems, there are going to be cons. With the Xbox Series X, I kind of want to highlight some of those here. Very biggest one I can say, this is probably the most glaring between these two systems. There's just not that big game. Halo Infinite not making it at launch really hurt, I think, hurt this system, because there's not that one game I can point to and go, oh man, you need to play this, it looks incredible. Sure, the games that are the multi-platform games like Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs look great on the system. And they look great on the PlayStation 5 as well, but there's not that one like game, oh, I can only play this on the Xbox. And a couple years ago with Microsoft saying, hey, all our games are also going to be on PC, there's not really many true exclusives to this system anymore. That's kind of just how they built their business model, and I've been okay with that. But you know, the biggest game I was looking forward to, the Medium, doesn't come out until the end of January now, and that game's really going to take advantage of the SSD and that fast loading. It's probably going to feel like a true next-gen game on this system, but when you stack it next to the PS5, which has Demon's Souls Remake and Spider-Man Miles Morales, both games that really capture what the PS5 can do right now, it's just, it really hurts Microsoft. And so, yes, are there games that take advantage of the Series X? Sure. But I feel like there's not that one big game that you walk into a store and go, oh, I need to buy an Xbox to play that. And I feel like if Halo had made it, it could have been that. Another big complaint I have about the system, and I think this also bogs it down too, the dashboard. They didn't really redesign it that much. It's the same dashboard that you will get currently on the Xbox One and the Xbox One X. I was really hoping for something that differentiates these systems and makes it feel like a next-gen system, and instead, at times, I feel like this is just the most overpowered Xbox One you could ever get. I was kind of hoping they would distance themselves from the Xbox One instead of kind of carry some of that baggage, and it feels like that. Sure, the menu is lightning fast now, as fast as it always should have been, but there's just that feeling when you load up the system and you look at it and go, oh, it's the same dashboard I've been looking at for the last 5 years. And that's kind of a bummer. Overall, it doesn't have that next-gen feel for me yet. It's a really awesome system. I've definitely been spending time with it, but compared to the PlayStation, which we're going to dive into now, it just doesn't have like as much of a next-gen feel as I feel the PS5 has. So let's talk about the PS5. So for pros on the PS5, it has a stellar first-party launch lineup. And not only will I say that is in Demon's Souls and Spider-Man Miles Morales, it comes with a pack-in game that could be one of the best games I've played this year, which is Astrobot Playroom. And yes, does this game serve as kind of a tutorial for the new controller? Certainly it does, but the thing that's cool about it is it just plays like a really, really good Mario type game, and I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. There's actually a lot of depth to it, and it's a packing game. Everybody gets it. You buy the system, it's already installed. Even when you bring over your profile and everything, the game is there. And it's really, really awesome. But then you also have that lineup. You have Demon's Souls, which is a true Game of the Year contender for me. I actually just finished it. I probably will do a review, but don't hold me to it. But I really enjoyed it. It is the most next-gen looking game I have played thus far. It looks incredible. It feels incredible. And we'll get into some of the other aspects of that. And then Miles Morales. I've only kind of dipped my toe into Miles Morales, but that game also looks just incredible and stunning, and another showpiece for the PS5. And that's the biggest thing I want to hammer home here. These are two games that make a compelling argument to go out and buy a PS5. SSD is another big selling point here. While the SSD technically doesn't have as much storage as the Xbox One SSD, it is technically faster, and it shows. There are a lot of games and a lot of times where I feel like I'm just loading up things not way faster, but a lot faster than the Series X. Miles Morales in general, just like, it's like instant. Demon's Souls, it's like 4 or 5 seconds you're in the game. It's really, truly incredible. Another thing I have to throw out there, they did a new dashboard. And that's another thing. This dashboard is in 4K. It looks really good. Are there some things I dislike about the new dashboard? Sure. But hey, it's a new dashboard. It's not just the same one I've been looking at for 5, 6, 7 years. So, and that goes a long way. Another thing I have to really drive home and talk about is this excellent new controller. So this is the DualSense. You know, when we first saw pictures of it and screenshots, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know about it. I love this controller. It's made me really, it's the haptic feedback in it really feels good. I think the triggers in it really feel responsive. The D-pad is still as great as it has been on previous PlayStation controllers. I think they finally got the spacing for the analog sticks just right, and the buttons feel right as well. Another thing I'll say is the battery life is much improved over the DualShock 4. It's a great controller. I've had a lot of fun using this thing. The last thing I'll say here is for me, it feels like a next-gen system. It plays games great, super fast, and I think because you have some stellar launch titles right available now, it feels like a next-gen series. Like when I boot up the PS5, it feels like a next-gen experience, and that's what I'm looking for when I purchase a next-gen machine. let's talk about some of the cons of the PS5 though. First thing I'm going to point out is there is no smart delivery equivalent on the PS5. So, best example I can give is Mortal Kombat. So, I own Mortal Kombat 11 physically for the PS4. It is one of the games that has a free upgrade available. As I mentioned, how smart delivery works, unfortunately that's not how it works on the PS5. So, what you have to do, and it's very convoluted, is first, you'll pop in your PS4 disc and install the game. And, a game like Mortal Kombat probably has a lot of updates, and also it's like a 60 to 70 gigabyte game. So when that's all installed, then you can go on the store and install the PS5 version. This is a separate download and a separate version of the game. So then, what you would do is go in, delete your PS4 version, now you have the PS5 version. However, unless a developer has authorized the ability to drag your save over, a lot of these games that have these updates don't let you carry your save over. So Mortal Kombat 11, I can't bring my save over from the PS4 version. I would have to play it all over again. And that's a real bummer. And that's one of the biggest, you look at Xbox, you look at the steps that they've made to make sure that that works, and you look at the PlayStation, it seems like they've just really fumbled that idea here, and it's disappointing. Now, one thing I will say is that if you buy the upgrade edition of Miles Morales, you can get Spider-Man Remastered, and they actually, Insomniac did put out the ability to upload your PS4 save. It's not as simple as putting it in the PS Plus cloud. The disappointing thing there is you have to actually go have that game installed on a PS4 and then go into the game, upload your save, and then go into the remastered version and download your save. That's very convoluted, and I think it sucks. Currently, rest mode for the PS5 is broken. This has affected some games. So for me, I had my system in rest mode one night just to let it charge the controller, and then I went to go play Demon's Souls the next day, and it just broke. Like, it literally just kept kicking me out of the game. The only way I was able to reset it was hard shut down the system, restart it. Never had the issue again. And I know they're working on a patch for this, but still, kind of a bummer. I have automatic cloud save sync like the Xbox does, so if I were to go put this on another PlayStation and load up the game, it's not going to just auto-sync my save from this PlayStation. Like, if I were to go and play on a buddy's Series X, it would just pull my save from the cloud. That's unfortunate and disappointing, considering your competition has been doing that for many, many years now. The biggest thing I have to say to the PS5 is it is ugly. It is the ugliest system I think I have ever owned. It looks hideous. I hate the look of it. I can't wait until they redesign it and I can shred this thing out. I set this thing up. Unfortunately, I was planning, and I'll show you pictures here, I was planning of having it horizontal. Unfortunately, if I were to stick it into the cubbyhole I have in this entertainment center, it wouldn't have enough airflow, and I don't want to overheat the thing. So I have to stand it vertically. I hate the look of the system. It's way too big. It's way too bulky. I don't like the white design of it. I don't like the black gloss. I've never liked gloss finish. I hate how this thing looks. It's an eyesore. And it just looks like this quasi-futuristic mid-2000s router or something. It looks ugly. I bitched about this in previous videos, but now actually having this system, I just think it looks hideous. Last thing I'll say about it is, I obviously have the disk drive version of it. Well, the system is super quiet when you're playing a game, and I'll say this for both of them. They are dead quiet. You don't hear anything. You have to really get up to it to hear like a fan or something going. When a game is installing on the disk drive of the PlayStation, it is incredibly loud. Not PS4 loud, but pretty loud. So overall, those are my pros and cons of these two systems. I was lucky enough to get both of them, and I've been enjoying my time with both of them. But right now, if I had to choose, if I was out there, I could only choose or afford one of these systems right now, and I know that's a lot of you watching this video, I would go with the PS5. And, the funny thing is, I didn't think that's where I was going to stand before I made this video and before I got these systems, but I just feel like right now, there's more going on there. I've spent more time with the PS5 between Demon's Souls, Miles Morales, some of these other games. I've actually been playing Genshin Impact, which runs as good as the PC version now on the PS5. And the thing that's disappointing when I play the Xbox is it's great. I like playing old games, but at the end of the day, it just feels like an overpowered Xbox One, like just this overkill, like we made the most powerful Xbox One you can. And that's really cool, but at the end of the day, I needed something new, and I don't have it yet. Sure, games like The Medium and Halo Infinite are going to come out next year, But what about all these other studios that Microsoft has? We need to start pumping games out. We need to start getting things, you know, in the chamber for people to be excited about, or it's just going to be last generation all over again. And yes, things like Game Pass are super nice. I love plugging Game Pass because I think it's an awesome service. But at the end of the day, I need games to play. And and especially exclusive games that harness the power of these next-gen systems, I'm not really getting that on the Series X. Whereas I look at the PlayStation, Demon's Souls, Miles Morales, the packing game, for crying out loud, is incredible. So right there, I just think there's more value with the PS5 right now than there is with the Series X. Again, I enjoy both of them. I don't mean to make this video a hate thing. And as you know on this channel, I'm not biased between systems. I like them both for what they are, always have. But for my money, the PS5 would be my choice right now. Now again, this might change in a year. I plan a year from now to do kind of an update video. But for right now, if I had to choose, if I could only pick one, it would be the PS5. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the next-gen systems. As always, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.